Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about how we prepare for freezing cold temps, a lot of snow, and power outages. Now there's 5 main things that I'll concentrate on this video that I try to keep in mind when I know that a storm is coming. That would be heat, water, food, backup source of power, and a backup source of lighting. Now we have a wood stove. We just bought that last year, I believe. Yeah, we went through one winter with it already, and that stove is really efficient, and it'll burn 1-2 logs for quite a while, so we save on wood that way. I have a big backstock of wood. I've got actually this pile in front of me here under the tarp is all wood, and then we have a wood shed up across the street where I have a bunch of wood up there. Now we also have electric heat in the basement. We've got a little Eltron heater, I believe it is, a wall heater, and that's hardwired into the system, and that heats the bedroom down there and the bathroom just great. I mean, we never have that thing above 2, even now when it's freezing. A few other things we have for heat are one of the little My Buddy heaters that you use the green propane gas tanks with, and we have used that in the past, so that thing would be good in a pinch. We also have a kerosene heater, but we haven't used that for years. We used to use it in here when this place was just a shell and a dry cabin. Next would be water. Now we do have a water system where we have a pump and everything, and it pumps water up to the kitchen up here in the cabin, but we were in the teens and 20s, and on day 2 that system froze up, and we've been working off backup water that we stored. Now what we do is we have 4 55-gallon drums. 3 of them are food grade, and the other one has been used for probably 10 years collecting water, so I don't think there's any issues with that if we needed to use it. But we have those that backup water. We have 1 55-gallon drum inside the cabin, and we have 3 of them down here in this little alleyway. That's a little alley where we have our pump and hot water tank, and the bathroom is there in the bedroom, but this is a separate little alley. It stays warm enough to where I keep those 3 barrels of water down there and they won't freeze. So basically we have, you know, a good 200 gallons of extra water. We also have a 25-gallon water tank downstairs in the bathroom, and that's for chicken water, or if we really want to use the toilet, we can use that water to flush the toilet, but we try not to do that. When the power is out or the water system is frozen, we switch to a composting toilet, and it's a simple setup with a bucket with a toilet seat lid, and we put we use wood shavings on there, or we use peat moss, and you know, you can compost your poo. I'll put a link in the description on the Humanure book, which tells you how to do that, and it's a really good book, and it talks about just how much water is wasted using toilets. So good book to look at. Anything else I'm talking about, if I can, I'll put it in the description below, a link to where you can get that stuff. Now the water tanks, you can find those for free if you do some digging. We lucked out, and our youngest son worked at a place that made sauerkraut, and they had 55-gallon food grade barrels that they were getting rid of, and we snagged 4 of those. One of them is outside, but it's frozen, and that's what I usually use for chicken water, to catch rainwater, and then that's what we use for them. But for now, we're just using the backup that we have inside that's not frozen. Now you can find those on Craigslist and different places. If you live somewhere where it's going to be freezing and your system might freeze up when you have no water, you might want to even just go pay for some food grade barrels and have those stashed. It pays off, because man, once that power goes out, the first thing that crosses my mind is, do I have water? Because I don't want to hike down to the river. I mean, it's not a hike, but we drop down like 3 or 4 terraces to get to the river, and to haul buckets of water up is not fun. We did it when this place was just a shell, and it's, you know, it'd be harder in the snow because it's really slick up here. So it's just nice to have that extra water on hand. We do have a BERKEY filter, and that's a homemade BERKEY filter that I saw on Boss of the Swamp. And he might have changed the name of that channel. I'll put a link to that down below too, but he showed how to make your own BERKEY setup. You just got to buy the black BERKEY filters and the spigot, I guess. But it saved me probably 100, 125 bucks by building it myself. The other thing we have is a backpacking like expedition water filter that you can put probably 4 quarts in that thing, and you can filter water that way too. So it's nice to have ways to filter water. Pretty important if you're desperate and you got to start getting water from, you know, any place you can find it. So again, I'll put links to the filter info down below too. All right, so the next thing would be food. We keep extra food on hand. I mean, we could be up here for a month and we'd be fine. We have freeze-dried food, we have canned food, as in food that we canned. We have our meat birds still, and we have other canned food that we got from the grocery store, and noodles, things like that. So it's a good idea to have a bunch of food on hand, and to go hand in hand with that, you want to have a way to cook that stuff. We have the wood stove that we can always cook on. We also have a 3-burner Camp Chef stove, and we have extra propane. I always make sure I have extra propane. So if we run out of, if the power goes out, we have plenty of food, and we have a way to cook that food with backup ways to cook that food. And if I really get desperate, I have a hiking backpack stove with fuel for that also. Now for a backup source of power, we have a generator that we can fire up, and I have plenty of gas to run that thing for quite a while, and that would help power the freezer, power the fridge, and do anything else that we needed to do. If I needed to do something with tools to board up a broken window or who knows what, we do have a generator. We also have a little cheap 100-watt Harbor Freight solar system, and that charges batteries and flashlights and things like that. Now the solar system obviously is not going to do a whole lot in this kind of weather, and I have to go get that thing unburied after last night. Probably got I don't know, 10 inches of snow last night, so I'll clear that off, and maybe, you know, it'll collect a little bit, but it's got a full charge of battery right now, so it'll get us by for, you know, the short time that we're going to be buried in this snow. When it comes to lighting, we have oil lamps, and we have extra fuel for those oil lamps and extra wicks for the oil lamps. The other thing we have is flashlights, quite a different selection of flashlights, and most of them are rechargeable. And we've got a couple O-lights, which are really high quality lights. We got the cheaper ones, but they're still high quality, work great, and you can recharge them. We've got a big spotlight that you can recharge. And we also have a couple of these little bulb type of flashlights that you can screw into a light fixture and charge them, or you can charge them with USB, and they also act as a battery, so you could charge your camera or another flashlight with that little bulb thing. Now we got ours at Lowe's. I'll try to find those and leave a description below also, but you can find that kind of stuff on Amazon as well. Different, you know, there's different makes and models of those things. One other important thing would be just overall safety. When it's snowy or icy, you got to make sure you're not just doing things, you know, without paying attention, because for me anyway, I'm up here by myself right now. Jen got out of here before this recent storm here hit, and she's down in town, and because she has to work during the week. I'm up here by myself, so if I get hurt, I'm in trouble, because I got to feed the girls down there, the chickens, and I got to be able to get firewood and kindling if I need to get more of that, you know, clear the roof if I need to clear the roof, and keep the hummingbirds fed, which I got to get that thing in there and refill it, clean it off. We try to feed the hummingbirds up here, and our neighbors down the street do the same, and they're really cool to have around. Okay, so I'll quit rambling, but yeah, that's stuff to think about if you're in the mountains, or if you're in an area that gets really cold or power outages. Be prepared, and stay safe out there. I'm going to end this video with just kind of showing scenery around. It's really beautiful when it snows, so I hope you stick around and check it out. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.